Karen Read live updates. Trooper reads flirtatious texts between Read and ATF agent Yuri Bukhenik. A Massachusetts State Police trooper read dozens of text messages between Karen Read and Brian Higgins, an ATF agent who was at the home where O'Keefe was found in the snow. A Massachusetts state trooper returned to the witness stand in the murder trial of Karen Read after cross-examination turned tense in his first day of testimony. Yuri Bukhenik was the sole witness to testify May 8, telling jurors about the gruesome injuries John O'Keefe suffered and what Read told police after her boyfriend was found unconscious outside the home of a fellow Boston police officer. Prosecutors say Read, 45, deliberately hit O'Keefe, 46, with her Lexus SUV in a drunken rage and left him for dead in January 2022. During questioning by the prosecution, Bukhenik walked jurors through surveillance footage from restaurants where Read and O'Keefe went drinking the night prior to his death. Read's defense attorney then grilled Bukhenik about the thoroughness of his investigation into Read and the involvement of his former subordinate, Michael Proctor, who sent crude text messages during the case. Proctor was fired in March for unrelated reasons, and Bukhenik was disciplined for failing to properly supervise him. Read's lawyers say she was framed for O'Keefe's murder. The case out of Dedham, Massachusetts has turned into a years-long whodunit legal saga that has garnered massive intrigue from true crime fans across the country, spurring an array of podcasts, movies, and television shows. The former financial professor is back in court after a 2024 trial ended in a hung jury. The first full day of testimony began April 23. Judge Beverly Cannoni estimated the trial could last between 6 and 8 weeks. Read's attorney asked Bukhenik about flirtatious text messages between Read and Brian Higgins, an agent with the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, who was at a restaurant where the couple went drinking the night before O'Keefe died and the home where O'Keefe was found in the snow. Bukhenik read dozens of messages between the two sent in January. In the thread, Read called Higgins hot, and he said the feeling is mutual. They discussed a kiss they shared, and Higgins asked if Read is happy with O'Keefe. I was, but things have deteriorated, Read replied. Read said O'Keefe cheated on her and their relationship worsened after his sister died. O'Keefe became the guardian of his niece and nephew after his sister and brother-in-law died, and Read said she never wanted kids. Higgins asked if Read is going to break up with O'Keefe, and Read said she's not sure. Later during his testimony, Bukhenik said that while certain parts of the texts between Read and Higgins were flirtatious, Bukhenik thought the texts depicted Read trying to get revenge against O'Keefe. Emotional revenge, Bukhenik said. She's trying to hook up with Higgins and then hurt O'Keefe by cheating on him. Bukhenik then agreed with Read's defense attorney that there was no evidence O'Keefe saw the text messages. As Read's attorney attempted to portray the text exchange as Higgins having a romantic interest in Read, Bukhenik pointed out that Read initiated the conversation. In my mind, I saw the text messages for what they were, initiated by Karen Read, and Read began a text message conversation with Brian Higgins, Bukhenik said. Bukhenik said Higgins responded, and Read and Higgins went back and forth, exchanging texts. Bukhenik also testified that Higgins repeatedly asked Read what her intent was in contacting him. During Bukhenik's testimony, Read's attorney said that Read told Higgins via text on January 23, 2022, that Read didn't want to stop talking to Higgins. Higgins responded with a text that said, Read's defense attorney said. 5 days later, on January 28, 2022, Read's attorney said there was no contact between Read and Higgins until Higgins texted, to Read after spotting Read with O'Keefe at a bar. Read's attorney asked Bukhenik if he thought that between January 23 and January 28, 2022, would Bukhenik describe Ms. Read's side of the conversation as ghosting Higgins. Bukhenik said he was unfamiliar with the term ghosting until Read's attorney told Bukhenik that it essentially means abruptly cutting off all contact with someone without any explanation or warning. One could read into it in that manner, Bukhenik said. Heated questioning of the fired trooper's supervisor resumes. Questioning became tense again almost immediately on May 9th as Read's attorney asked Bukhenik about the search of the lawn where O'Keefe was found. Bukhenik said he couldn't recall which member of the homicide team bagged a specific piece of evidence he found at the scene and that he didn't recognize the handwriting on the evidence bag as Proctor's. Read's attorney asked if that meant it was possible he turned it over to a stranger. "That's a ridiculous suggestion," Bukhenik replied. Bukhenik agreed that while he was searching, he didn't see any of the plastic fragments, purportedly pieces of a broken taillight, that Proctor later found. Read's attorney asked if there was any documentation of where the evidence was in the weeks between when it was found and when Proctor submitted it to the crime lab. Bukhenik said the evidence was at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office,